The grand auditorium of the Kennedy Center buzzed with anticipation. Crystal chandeliers bathed the hall in warm light as patrons in elegant attire whispered among themselves, each clutching programs embossed with gold letters. Tonight's headliner was none other than Victor Lang, the world-renowned concert pianist whose fingers had graced stages from Vienna to Tokyo. But backstage, away from the velvet and applause, sat a boy in a plain sweater and worn sneakers, his hands folded in his lap, his pale eyes fixed on nothing. 13-year-old Elijah couldn't see the beauty of the hall or the buzz around him. Born blind, he navigated the world through sound. Every footstep, whisper, and piano note was a part of the map he used to understand life. Elijah had won a national music competition for children with disabilities, and as part of the prize, he was invited to attend the masterclass hosted by Victor Lang himself. It was meant to be a moment of celebration. For Elijah, it was a dream. And a fear. He had taught himself to play piano by ear, using a battered old keyboard salvaged from a garage sale. He'd never had a formal lesson. But when he played, something happened, the world around him vanished, and music became his voice. As Victor Lang swept into the rehearsal room, his tailored suit and polished shoes made a statement. His reputation preceded him, brilliant, but cold. The students clapped politely as he entered, his expression unreadable. One by one, the children performed short pieces for critique. When Elijah's turn came, he rose slowly, his cane tapping lightly. A volunteer helped him to the piano. He sat, touched the keys gently, and took a deep breath. He played Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major. The room went quiet. But halfway through, Victor raised his hand. "Enough," he said, sharply. Elijah's hands froze. Murmurs echoed through the room. "You're not following the phrasing," Victor said flatly. "This is not a piece to play by guessing. You need to read the music." I can't read sheet music," Elijah said quietly. "I play by ear." Victor's lips thinned. "This is a masterclass, not a talent show. Technique and discipline matter. Emotion without structure is noise." A quiet snicker came from the back of the room. Someone whispered, what did they expect from a blind kid? Elijah's cheeks flushed, but he kept his composure. He nodded once, rose from the bench, and returned to his seat. No tears. No protest. But one person noticed, the stage manager, a woman named Claire, who had been working behind the scenes for 20 years. She had seen prodigies come and go, but something in Elijah's playing had moved her deeply. Later that evening, Claire knocked on the green room door where Elijah sat alone. She smiled gently. "Would you like to try the Steinway on the main stage?" Elijah hesitated. "Am I allowed?" "I'm the stage manager." "I say you are." They walked together to the stage. The auditorium was empty now, just rows of ghost-like seats in the dark. The spotlight above the Steinway was still on, casting a golden halo over the keys. Claire helped him sit. "Play whatever you feel," she said softly, and stepped back into the shadows. Elijah placed his fingers on the keys. He didn't play Chopin. He didn't play Beethoven. He played something of his own, a melody born of loneliness, hope, and dreams unspoken. It started with a whisper, notes trickling like raindrops on a windowpane. Then it grew, richer, bolder, a symphony of color only he could imagine. His hands danced, and for 10 minutes, the empty hall was filled with something holy. What Elijah didn't know was that Victor had returned to the hall to retrieve a forgotten scarf. He stood just inside the doors, transfixed. The music reached him like a breeze in a desert. For the first time in years, he didn't hear mistakes or technique, he heard truth. When the final note faded, Victor stepped onto the stage. Elijah startled at the sound. "Who wrote that piece?" Victor asked, voice low. "I did," Elijah replied, almost apologetically. Victor was silent. Then, something shifted in his expression. Not pity, but awe. Play it again, he said. That night, a grainy phone video taken by Claire would go viral. Titled, "Blind Boy Stuns Kennedy Center with Breathtaking Performance," it racked up millions of views. Elijah was interviewed on morning shows. Musicians around the world reached out. Conservatories offered scholarships. But the most astonishing change came from Victor Lang. In a press conference a week later, he announced a new project, a foundation dedicated to supporting self-taught and disabled musicians. And its first ambassador? Elijah. "I forgot," Victor said into the microphone, "that music is not something to be perfected. It is something to be felt. This boy reminded me." At a gala benefit months later, Elijah and Victor performed a duet. As they played, tears streamed down the faces of audience members. Not because of flawless technique, but because they witnessed a moment of unity, humility, and the triumph of spirit. After the concert, a child approached Elijah. She, too, was blind, holding a small keyboard in her hand. "Do you think I can play like you one day?" she asked. Elijah knelt beside her. "You can play like you. And that's even better." In a world that often sees limitation as weakness, Elijah became a symbol of something greater. A reminder that the heart, unbound by expectation, can create beauty that eyes alone can never see. And from that day on, Victor never again judged a musician before he listened, really listened. Because sometimes, the most powerful performances come from the quietest corners, and the most broken places produce the most unbreakable songs.